Hey guys, I'm doing a review of the KLX 300SM. This is a 22. Let me get some good angles here. So I slightly modified it. Otherwise, it's pretty stock. Obviously, I did paint it black. You know, it was already very black when I got it, which I really liked. You don't see many bikes that are stock painted like that, where almost every part of it is blacked out. I thought that was a really cool look. Anyway, this is my first motorcycle and also my first experience with any kind of motorcycle. I've never even so much as blipped the throttle on one before. I really wanted to get a Supermoto or dual sport at the very least. But I think this was a pretty solid choice for a beginner. Now I've had this bike for a year and a half now, and I have to say, as far as beginner bikes go, it's pretty good. Solid all around. The only thing I really don't like about it is the fuel tank only holds 2 gallons, and that gets you about I would say 2 hours of driving if you keep it at like 65, 70, but it can get up to like I think it's like 150 miles or 200 at best, probably more like 150. I would need to double check that though. I don't typically, obsess over that. I just don't really care. But because I'm not doing any long range touring or anything like that, so it doesn't really matter that much to me. I mostly use it to get around the city. The farthest I've gone with it was about 1,000 miles. 1,000 miles round trip, and that wasn't bad at all. Actually, it was pretty tolerable. I have some spare fuel that I bring with me. I don't think I have it now, but normally I keep all my repair related stuff in this little bag. Got a jump start, and then just a metric toolkit, and I'll usually bring my spare fuel canisters with me. Not that I ever really need them, but it's nice to have. Anyway, yeah, that's really the only other modification I made to it. I just made this little storage rack and Nelson rig tail bag on the back. I got Metz. I don't even remember this freaking brand. I think it's German. Metz Eller. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. It's a sport touring tire. Anyway, other than that, the bike is pretty much completely stock. I can't think of anything else I've changed on it, and I have to say, right out of the factory, it's a pretty solid bike. It's really fun to drive around the city, and right now I'm in a pretty twisty little back road area. This is where it's really fun to take it. And yeah, as far as like long range touring, it's obviously not great for that. It's doable on the highway. You can get up to like the fastest I've gotten was 100, but that was at a decline. If I'm going at a straight incline, and if the road is really well maintained and everything, and every condition is optimal, I can get up to like 95 if I like really tuck down and like try as hard as I possibly can. But like normally it tops out about 85, 90 on average, which I have to say, after a year and 12,000 miles of riding this thing, I have to say I'm getting pretty tired of that. It has a pretty decent acceleration, but that top speed is just not fast enough in my opinion. And if you're on a highway and people are going like 80 and you want to pass someone, I mean, you can do it, but you're not going to really be able to just muscle your way past tons of people like you can with really most other bikes, or even any half decent car. So that's annoying. But this wasn't really designed for taking it on touring trips, obviously. As far as off-roading, it's pretty damn good for that. So I mean, it's 2 steps above a Supermoto, obviously, or 2 steps above a dirt bike, because you get a dirt bike and then you got a dual sport, and then this is a Supermoto, which is basically a street track oriented version of a dual sport. So I mean, it's not great for off-roading. You can definitely do off-roading, but compared to like a dedicated dirt bike, obviously it's gonna fall behind. But I got it because I just wanted to have the versatility to be able to take it wherever I want. And being able to take it off-road is nice. Like if there's construction or something, I can just cruise past it, go on the gravel or something, go through grass, and no problem. I can go over obstacles like curbs and stuff like that without having to worry. And really, as far as handling goes, this thing is a beast. I mean, like I said, this is my first bike, and I feel like I've already come close to mastering it. I mean, I can do wheelies, I can take insanely sharp corners, I can clutchless upshift and downshift without even using both my hands. I've done it without even using any hands, even because the bike is so light and so easy to control. It's kind of a joke, honestly. And the thing is, taking around the twisties is actually so easy, because when you turn the throttle as far as it goes, you don't have to worry about having like extra throttle applied when you're taking turns and stuff. So you can just hold the throttle all the way down and just go through and maintain, like 80, 85 through twisty areas, and you don't have to worry about accidentally accelerating too much. So that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, I have to say, overall, I really like it. But if it was a 600 or above, it would probably be a damn near perfect bike. One other thing too that I haven't even shown, but look at this gauge cluster. I mean, it is so bare bones, especially for a 2022. I mean, it literally has nothing. It doesn't even have a fuel gauge. It has a fuel light, warning light, but it doesn't have it doesn't tell you what gear you're in, whatever those are called. So it has absolutely nothing. It just has speedometer, tachometer, very bare bones. I kind of like that, because I don't need any of that bullshit. That's why it's so cheap, because it doesn't really have any gimmicks and frills and all this nonsense. It doesn't even have ABS. Now, that's kind of controversial. I'm not going to talk about that. Some people think you don't need ABS if you know how to brake properly, but there's always going to be situations where you panic and you might end up not braking correctly. So that's a whole different thing. But I haven't come into any issues with that. I have skid-tailed several times, but now I've done it so many times, I almost just do it purposely because it's fun, and it's so easy to control the bike, like I said, that even if you do fishtail, the bike just self-corrects itself in like 2 seconds and you're good. And then as far as wheelies go, it doesn't have a whole lot of torque, obviously, so it's a little harder than you would think. I only do them from first gear. I heard some people say that it's actually easier to do it from second, but I found that much harder. I don't know, maybe that just depends on how they modified it and everything. Like I said, done almost nothing to this. And another thing too, I mean, I can't tell what angle this is going to look like on the camera, but I'm 6 foot, 180 pounds, and I've heard that this bike is better for smaller people. I don't really know how that would apply to like wheelies and everything and overall handling, but for me, it seems perfectly fine. And like when I'm sitting down on it, I mean, I can easily touch the ground. I would think if you're like 5'6" or something, you might actually struggle to get your feet on the ground, because it's pretty high off the ground. I mean, being based off a dual sport, like you can kind of tell it has pretty high clearance. So I don't know how that would work if you're you know, a little shorter, but I've heard other people say it's fine. Ergonomically for me, it seems really comfortable. I really have had no issues with that. Another thing too I like as far as ergonomics, I think the mirrors are really well designed. You can move them around really easily, and you can see everything behind you so much. They do kind of point out a little far. I mean, you can sort of see here the mirrors actually are wider than the handlebars, but obviously you can remove those and put on whatever the hell you want. I don't modify shit just because I kind of like to see how things are stock for a while. Also, I'm just cheap, so there's that. But yeah, overall, there's not much I have to complain about this except for the engine. You know, like I said, 300cc. It just doesn't cut it for me, even after only a year of riding. And I don't want to sound cocky, you know, but I really do feel like I've already come close to mastering this. I'm starting to get kind of bored with it. So I really would like to upgrade to, I don't know, I haven't really thought about it much, but something like this, but the 600 plus cc would be perfect. Yeah, other than that, I can't really think what else to talk about. You know, as far as supermotos and dual sports go, I would say it's pretty standard. It's a very sharp looking bike, which I admit is a good portion of why I bought it, but also the cheapness and, you know, being a Kawasaki, it's very reliable. So that's partly what attracted me. Also the low weight and high clearance and overall handling appealed to me the most. So it really depends what your goals are. I mean, if you're a beginner, it's pretty solid, and you can learn a lot from this. I think I actually learn from a bike like this better than I would from like some heavier leader bike, because those you got to be careful to not, you know, push your limits. But with this, I push my limits all the time, and I haven't really. I mean, I've never really had any issues. I've only dropped the bike a few times, and that was all within the first month when I was, you know, practicing in parking lots and stuff. And but I haven't dropped the bike in almost a year now. Never had any issues with, like, you know, not being able to take corners and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't really think what else to mention here. So I'm gonna take it for a spin.